Hi, welcome to Beyond the Red Carpet. I'm Francine Brokaw, and I'm very happy to introduce my sponsor for this month. It's Trophy Skin. And I have to tell you, yes, I do use their products. I really like them. I have the opportunity when I'm with celebrities in my job, and I see that some of them have endorsed products, I ask them off the record, do you usually use this product or have you used this product? And a lot of times they'll just say, or I've tried it. Sometimes people say, yeah, I do use it. But I do admit right now here that I do use the Trophy Skin products and I do endorse them. So thank you, Trophy Skin, for sponsoring Beyond the Red Carpet. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You know, it's amazing to me that it's been a whole year since we started this show. So this time we're going to take a retrospective look back at the last year of all the fun and the fantasy and all the surprises that we've had over this year. My first guest was Brennan Elliott from the Hallmark Channel, one of the Hallmark hunks as he's called. And I saw him recently and we reminisced about his being the first guest on this show, and he's looking forward to coming back to talk to the Laguna Woods viewers about more Hallmark Channel mysteries and movies that he's got coming up. But in the meantime, let's look back at his interview, which started it all. Hi, welcome in to Beyond the Red Carpet. Today we are speaking with actor Brennan Elliott, whom I know a lot of you know from Hallmark Channel movies and Lifetime Unreal. Let's talk about Night at the Museum.
Sure.
You played?
Fredericks.
Fredericks?
He is basically it was an Indiana Jones-esque type character. But basically I play, there he is there, I play Dick Van Dyke's character in the movie, his father. Mm-hmm. And I'm the first person who got the tablet that started all the franchise. And I was this obsessed archaeologist who was impassioned and driven to the point of almost insanity to find this thing. No matter if my crew died, I would do whatever it took to get this, to find something, a relic of some sort, and ended up finding the tablet.
After this picture aired or was posted online, I was looking through the social media. There were a ton of your fans. Your fans are called Brennies. They call themselves the Brennies.
Yes.
You have a whole slew of them. They were clamoring for you to do an Indiana Jones type movie.
They still are. They still are. They saw this and have been very supportive, and they're rabid in the most positive way.
Brooke Shields on the Flower Shop Mysteries on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to do a sequence of movies with her, and there she is there. And it was kind of a heart-to-heart kind of esque, funny, dramatic mystery series. And we had hopes of doing more than obviously 3, but we only ended up getting to do 3, and it was a wonderful experience. She's an incredible woman.
So I'm going to put you on a desert island. There's electricity, but you're all alone. You're going to be there for 1 year.
1 year.
With
electricity, and that's it?
With electricity.
Okay.
I mean, you have water.
Yeah.
What 4 movies would you want to take with you to entertain you for the year?
The Godfather. Scarface, probably. It's a classic. Man.
Hard one, huh?
Yeah, because I love so many movies. I mean, Forrest Gump, because that always made me laugh. Oh, Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck.
I was a big John Candy fan. I used to think he was one of the most brilliant comedic actors ever, and being born in Canada.
Those are pretty much hardcore movies. I mean, you've got Uncle Buck.
I got Scarface, Godfather. So if I want to watch something dramatic and I want to get into the actors of my generation that I grew up watching, that I admired. I'm a big Marlon Brando fan. And then when I want to laugh, I mean, Tom Hanks to me is a genius, and he's one of my favorites of all time. I don't get starstruck, but I actually ran into him. Well, I didn't run into him. I saw him standing on a street corner at the 3rd Promenade with me and my wife, and the world stopped. And that's the first time in my life.
That's
and I don't get starstruck.
Yeah.
And I just was like, that's Tom Hanks.
I also had the opportunity to speak with actress Katie Sackhoff about her movie 2036 Origin Unknown about artificial intelligence, which actually was pretty interesting learning about AI. And here's what Katie had to say.
Artificial intelligence support. Commencing circular rotation maneuver.
So Katie, can you give our viewers a little synopsis of the movie 2036 Origins Unknown?
Absolutely. So 2036 Origin Unknown is about a woman who works at an international space station, basically. And human beings have pretty much been replaced by AI. And my character has been sort of put in a position now where she just babysits an AI. They basically control the Mars rover out in space from Earth, and they find an origin unknown. And it's basically the two of them basically start competing with each other because whoever figures out what it really is the one that can prove that they're not obsolete. And it's sort of like this. It's a relationship between an AI and a human being, which is sort of exactly what we're all going through right now.
Okay, the movie has basically three aspects going for it. There's a family aspect, there's a sci-fi aspect of space exploration, and there's the artificial intelligence aspect of it. What do you find the most compelling?
I think that the three aspects of the film are all really valid and current with what's going on right now. I think that everybody can relate to the struggle between siblings and their competition with each other to succeed and to sort of be seen in their parents' good graces, which is what these two sisters have been competing against. They're both in different positions at the space station, and it's one of them is the younger sister who's a bit of a rebel, and the other one sort of like has always gone by the rules. And I think that we can all sort of relate to those roles, and the space exploration is something that is huge right now in our society, and independent companies and government exploration is sort of a big thing. Everybody's trying to see if there's something out there, if there's if there's another planet that's inhabitable. I mean, these are the things that we're looking for. I mean, Elon Musk is sitting here saying that he's going to have people in space in our lifetime on tourists like explorations, which is crazy.
Filmmaker Chuck Workman stopped by to discuss his work in Hollywood and also his Academy Award-winning short film, Precious Images. We had the opportunity to also show our viewers the Academy Award-winning short and also hear from Chuck about Hollywood, its history, and where he thought it would be going in the future. Welcome, Chuck.
Oh, thanks very much.
This is exciting.
Nice to be here.
Precious Images, besides being the Academy Award-winning short, about 30 years ago?
Yeah.
10 years ago, you were mentioning it was selected by the Library of Congress. Can you explain what they selected it for?
Yeah, they pick about 10 films every year to preserve, but really it's just a list. But it's a great honor to be on the list. It's a list of films that they feel should not be thrown away and should be preserved somehow, and they'll help you preserve them if you don't do it. And it's usually classic movies, but sometimes they take shorts or educational films or documentaries. So they took this short, and it was great.
Well, this short is fabulous because there's so much in it in a short 7 minutes that you just look and you think, oh my gosh, it brings back so many memories. You can never get tired of watching it.
Yeah, people will. The way it is set up is it's about 450 different clips of famous Hollywood movies in honor of the 50th anniversary of the Directors Guild, the Film Directors Union. And I just kept adding films that I wanted to have in it. And so it got to be such a long list that I had to cut it very short. So I had to find ways to kind of move from one to another and use the music and everything. And So people just sit back and they watch it, and they see lots of movies that they suddenly remember, and then it's gone immediately, and they go to the next one. And it's been around all these years, and people seem to like it and want to see it again and again. And
when I was watching it, I saw movies that I hadn't seen in a long time and thinking, oh, I got to go back and see that movie.
People do that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much in there. It's just great.
Right.
But it was made 30 years ago, so
No, but
you
it
have
was
to make
updated.
another. Yeah,
It was updated.
It was?
Yeah, about 10 years later it was updated, and we
Okay.
put in Schindler's List, and we put in other famous movies
right.
that you know, felt.
You have to continually update it because it's fabulous. I mean,
Well,
it's a piece
you can
of
update
Hollywood.
it.
Thank you.
I'm done updating, unless someone wants to pay me.
My friend Ivor Davis came by all the way from Ventura to tell the viewers all about his time embedded with the Beatles in the 1964 first American tour. That was historic in its own right, but Ivor also was with Robert Kennedy the night he was shot. So you were basically embedded with the Beatles in their 1964 first U.S. tour. Tell us about your first meeting with the Fab Four.
Well, first of all, it's a delight to be beyond the red carpet. Because as a journalist, you never get to actually be on the red carpet.
No, we don't.
It's all the movie stars and the celebrities that do it, and you just give them distance, as you know. You don't get in the way of the star.
Well, today you are our star.
Ah, thank you. Well, 1964, I was a journalist working for the London Daily Express, which was a huge newspaper in England in the days when people actually read newspapers.
Yeah.
Remember that back in the
Yeah, old days.
20th century? It was in the 20th century. And my office said, the lads are coming to America, first tour, get on the plane, meet them in San Francisco, travel with them, eat with them, drink with them, and cover this tour to see if they can conquer America like they've conquered Europe. And also, my editor said, you will be the ghost writer writing George Harrison's column, because as most of us knew, George was a great musician, great on the guitar, but his writing skills left something to be desired, and that was where I came in.
Well, let me stop you for a minute there. So you ghost wrote an article for a column for George, but you didn't know him. So
I didn't know him.
How did you work with him, or how did you get his flavor?
Well, to be honest with you, George of all the Beatles was the surliest one, the least communicative one.
Wow.
He was a youngster. He was the youngest in the group, and it was very hard to make the connection. And I was supposed to sit down with him, as good journalists do, and get it straight from the heart. Get him to talk about how he felt, what his reaction was, all the things, the juicy things. But George, one problem was he never woke up until 3 in the afternoon, because they went to bed at 3 a.m. They woke up at 3 in the afternoon. It was long past my deadline. And so what happened was I sort of concocted.
You improvised.
Improvised, yes. Well, the improvisation was okay, but the problem was that George, 2 weeks into the tour, got me on the private jet that we all traveled on and said, your column that you're writing under my name is a load of old, he said shite, which is, I think you get the picture.
Yeah.
So I said, George, you know, if you sat down for me, even for half an hour, and told me what was spinning in your mind, it would work better. And after that, we got on much better, and being his ghostwriter, and so he gave me a lot better stuff than the rubbish I'd been turning out, concocting earlier. So that was my job with George, other than also covering the Beatles on this phenomenal, just an incredible, I always call it Ticket to Ride, because it was a ticket to ride.
Well, you've said it was a wild ride.
Wild ride.
The whole tour was a wild ride for you.
It was a wild ride because the Beatles never knew what to expect. Brian Epstein was very worried about whether the Beatles would be accepted, because many other, Cliff Richard, Tommy Steele, most people have not heard of, came over from heroes in England, came to America, fell flat. So he was worried, but as soon as I got there, I knew the moment I walked into the hotel in San Francisco and met the Beatles, and there were 2,000 girls outside the hotel screaming, I realized it was going to be big, and it was. I worked for the London Daily Express, and we were doing a book about the election that year. And fortunately or unfortunately, I was given Robert Kennedy to cover in California.
I would say that's fortunate.
Fortunately. Well, I say because we know what happened to Robert Kennedy. So, and so if I may jump to the night.
Go ahead, you were
the
there.
The night of the election, I was covering it. I was at the Ambassador Hotel. Bobby knew he was going to win over Eugene McCarthy. A week earlier, he'd lost to Eugene McCarthy in Oregon, but now in California, which had 174 delegates to the convention, which is a big number of delegates, Bobby had it pretty well in his hand, which would have sent him to the convention as the favorite. He made a speech. He was tired. He said, on to Chicago. And then we were going to go to a press conference. And Bobby and his bodyguards, Rayford Johnson, who was a decathlon champion, and
Rosie Greer.
Rosie Greer, the football player, got separated. Bobby got taken through this kitchen pantry area. I followed maybe 30 to 40 paces behind, and I heard balloons bursting. I thought it was balloons bursting, 5 or 6 or 7, and screaming. Women started screaming. I rushed to the pantry door, and Stephen Smith, who was Bobby's brother-in-law, stopped me, and I said, what's going on? He said, hang on, and being the journalist that I was, I wanted to see what was going on in the pantry. And what happened was that he grabbed me by my cuff here, and I just, I was probably too enthusiastic. I pushed my way through, and he ripped my whole
The sleeve, your sleeve off?
The sleeve off, absolutely ripped off. But it didn't, but it was, and I looked in there, and there was Bobby on the a cold floor by the ice machine, bleeding badly. There was Ethel just saying, give him air, give him room. I remember she put his head on a one of those old-fashioned those straw hats.
The campaign hats.
Campaign
yes.
hat as a cushion. Women were saying, not again. Somebody was screaming. A radio man was saying, get the gun, get the gun. It was total bedlam, everything going on there. And then I also, of course, noticed a guy called Harry Benson, who was the photographer that was working with me on the Daily Express. He had jumped on a kitchen table, a metal kitchen table, and was doing what photographers do, take pictures. And then we went to the hospital, and they said, Bobby is undergoing surgery. What do you do? I must say, I when he was at the hospital, I ran to a coin box and called my London office and dictated, I don't even know what. I mean, it made the front page. I said, give us everything. So I dictated off the top of my head for the first edition of the paper, went to the hospital, and we sat around saying, did you see this? Did you see that?
Well, you had a press pass. You were allowed in the hospital, or you were only in the front of it?
We all had our campaign badges. Bobby's people knew who we were because I'd been on the train with Bobby, little stop train. I'd been at the, on the bus when we did the cities of San Francisco and stuff like that.
My friend Angela Dawson stopped by one day and discussed her entertainment journalism career and her new book, and we had a lot of fun.
Robin Williams was always, it was a show whenever we sat down within a round table. You didn't even have to ask him a question. He would just go on and you'd have a performance of just in front of whatever, 8 or 9 people.
He'd walk in that way. He'd walk in.
He was raring to go from the get-go, but it was all extemporaneous. Like he would notice somebody and he would say, "Oh, that guy, where'd you pick that red shirt out today?" I mean, it would be very,
That was him.
That was him. Yeah.
He was fun.
Yeah.
He was fun.
So anyhow, I had my cell phone on me, and usually I'm very good about turning it off before I sit down at a
That's
round
one
table.
of our rules, that we have to turn our phones
Yeah,
off.
not just down, off, but somehow or another, I just like, it was in my purse. My purse was on the floor next to me, and I was sitting next to Robin. If I wasn't next to him, I was one person away from him. I think I was next to him, though.
I think you were, because I was right on the other side of
Yeah,
you.
so you probably saw me sweating bullets. Like, what's going to happen? Because I was thinking, you know, my mom would call me pretty much around the same time every day, just to check in, because she lived in Florida and I'm here in California. So I was thinking the whole time that we had Robin there, what's going to happen, you know, if she calls right now, if she chooses this very moment to call, and I'm playing out all these scenarios in my head of what's, you know, my mother and Robin Williams, that's it, the show would be over. I mean, crazy. Crazy. So anyhow, I have to say there's one thing about that is that if the phone rang, you probably even remember this better than I do, because that whole day was kind of a blur to me. I don't really remember what happened, but I just remember being scared out of my mind that the phone was going to ring and everybody was going to kill me because it would destroy that interview. We would be done. But I think we were able to get through it somehow.
But the phone did ring.
I think it rang, but I ignored it.
No, you don't remember?
I don't remember this, I swear. Honest to God.
You were reaching down to turn it off.
Yeah.
And Robin took it from you.
Okay. It's like, this is a blur to me, because, you know, there's certain things in your life where you just like say, okay, I'm going to forget this ever happened. You tell me, because I don't even remember.
That was to me very momentous, because it was hysterical. I want to know what we heard him talking to your mom. Hey, hi mom, blah, 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 blah. It was hysterical.
I swear I must have like.
You blocked it out because
I blocked it
was
out from
embarrassing.
embarrassment. I mean, and I guess that was just one of those moments.
But he
I'm glad I entertained you and the rest of the journos there.
He was great. He was fun. I mean, he wouldn't. I know some celebrities who would have really been ticked off with that.
Oh, absolutely. Can you imagine if Tommy Lee Jones had been there?
Oh my gosh.
He would have thrown me and the phone out.
Yeah, you're right. And there are some people that you don't want to ruffle the wrong way. Robin was not one of those. Robin was hysterical.
He played with the moment. It was like whatever the moment was happening, he would like, he lived for those moments.
He did.
That was it. And I miss him. I miss him.
Me too. Filmmaker Nick Brokaw came by to discuss all the various jobs that go on behind the camera and educate us all about grips and best boys and all those things that you see running in the credits that you might not know what they do. That was very enlightening. Take a look. Excuse me, but let's talk about the most important role in the crew, craft services. The food is most important for everybody, right?
Completely. The morale of each and every person depends on that craft service snack, that table, and the catering as well. You'd be surprised how far that goes in all seriousness. But you always hear stories about actors or people with larger egos on set flipping out about the craft service table not having the type of snack they want, which in part can be true, but what the role that they provide for the cast and crew on a daily basis is not to be taken lightly.
No, it's good. I've tasted a lot of different sets, the craft services, and they're pretty good food.
Yes, absolutely, and especially in commercials when they have a shorter amount of time that they have to provide food and whatnot for, they're able to up the budget quite a bit, and I've had some of the best sushi platters of my life on film sets before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we know the director instructs the actor where to go and what to say, basically. Well, they have the script. But what does the director of photography, DP, do?
Yes. So a director is not only obligated to telling the story in his or her vision, they answer to the executive producers and those who hired them to direct that film, or given them the green light to make that film. They also mainly directly interact with the cinematographer, like you said, or DP, DOP if you're on a British set, director of photography, also known as the cinematographer. The cinematographer handles everything related to the visual experience, the capturing of the image itself, and hence the camera department, all the crew members who run the camera equipment. And the hierarchy also spreads down everything that is involved in the physical set itself, the capturing of the set, the capturing of the actors, the way it's lit, the art department. The cinematographer is responsible for capturing that image and making sure that the set looks the way that he or she has visualized it and what is in accordance with the director's vision.
So, Hollywood historian and author of the Forgotten Hollywood book series came by, and he was on for 2 episodes because his wealth of knowledge is encyclopedic about Hollywood history, and I gotta tell you, I learned so much from Manny Pacheco.
I can always seem to tie Americana or things that happen in American history to Hollywood.
To a
it's
movie.
Just one of those weird things.
That's fascinating. That's really fascinating. I want to touch on your Odd Couple that you...
Oh, yes.
Tell
One
a
of
story
my
about
favorite
that.
stories.
I love that story. Go ahead.
Peter Lorre and Sidney Greenstreet didn't look like they belonged together in films, yet they made 9 films together. One was huge. He was a large man with a deep, menacing voice and 60 years of age. He started his career at the age of 60, only had an 8-year career. And the other was small with big banjo eyes and a funny voice, and had a much longer career, Peter Lorre. Sidney Greenstreet, Peter Lorre were first teamed in the movie The Maltese Falcon. And then came the second movie they appeared together, which they didn't appear in any scene together, but they appeared in the same movie, in a classic movie, of course, Casablanca. And
they were not in any scene.
No.
Oh, that's right.
And the reason for that, if I can do a spoiler alert here.
No, go ahead. I know everybody's seen the show.
Of course. Peter Lorre passes away. He's actually murdered by the police before Sidney Greenstreet even appears in the movie. So they never appeared together. But Jack Warner found that the two had such great chemistry that they actually ordered up 7 more movies, and usually they had to do with crime and punishment and even war. And at the same time that they were making movies, FDR was engaged in a real conflict, World War II, and he was particularly interested in the opportunity to harness atomic energy. And so he had the best and the brightest working 6 days a week, 20-hour days literally. I mean, just long, long days of scientists and military personnel with their families in tow. And
that was in the New Mexico.
Actually across the country, but particularly in New Mexico. Right. Yes, there was a base in New Mexico, but they were in bases all across the country they were working. Well, one of the scientists actually became a huge movie fan, and they would air movies on their day off for the families to enjoy. First run movies. It was a patriotic gift to these folks that were working very, very hard. So movies from 20th Century Fox, MGM, Paramount, and Warner Brothers, including movies with, of course, Sidney Greenstreet and Peter Lorre. And this scientist was just a big, big fan. So when they tested the first bomb, because they weren't sure it was going to explode, and they did that in New Mexico, as you alluded to, he nicknamed that bomb after one of his favorite movies, The Thin Man. And it was written by Dashiell Hammett. It was one of his favorite authors, and he loved the Thin Man movie. Well, when the second and third bombs were created, the bombs that were actually dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that same scientist who loved Dashiell Hammett decided to nickname both bombs the Little Boy and the Fat Man, named after the actual monikers that were used by Peter Lorre and Sidney Greenstreet in The Maltese Falcon, again written by Dashiell Hammett. So
that's an incredible story.
They are tied to the end of World War II. And one more footnote, because I know that we had talked about this before we went on, they could not clamp the Fat Man very well into the airplane, and they were afraid that it was going to actually explode in midair. So they had to order clamps. Well, they went to a company that happened to be owned by the retired member of the Marx Brothers, Zeppo Marx, because once the Marx Brothers went from Paramount to MGM, Zeppo retired. He opened up a parts factory and he ordered up plenty of different mechanical parts and munitions for the war effort, and one of those parts was the clamps that were holding the Fat Man bomb that was dropped in Nagasaki, another tie to Hollywood.
Oh, this is amazing. This is... I also got to spend some time at Disneyland and Walt Disney World this past year and check out the new exhibits, the events, the rides, and my favorite part, the food.
It's very big. I've noticed as walking around here, the friendship theme seems to be the biggest part of the fest. And what is your favorite Pixar friendship?
Yeah, well, the whole theme of Pixar Fest revolves around friendship, and we're celebrating the great friendships that have come out of the Pixar movies, and a lot of times it's unlikely friendships where it's two characters that don't necessarily get along well at the beginning of the movie, and then by the end they're friends. So my favorite is Joy and Sadness from Inside Out.
Oh, yeah. I've got a special place in my heart for Carl and Ellie. That's that married couple who spend their lives together. I've been with my wife for 34 years. And so,
yes.
You know.
Yes. So I know you guys have worked on several movies. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite part of each movie?
Oh.
I know there's too many.
No favorite movies.
Too many.
Okay.
You don't pick a favorite because they're like your children.
Yeah.
But if you could just pick something that really stands out to you on a Pixar movie, what would it be?
Oh man. Well, the end of Finding Nemo, I just think is so sweet with the father and son. Since I became a parent, I feel like I see that movie in a whole new way than before I did.
Yeah. You know, I think for me, it's the first Toy Story. It literally created the entire world of computer animated movies, and it did that because it told a great story, an emotional story about two great friends discovering the partnership together stronger than they were apart. And so celebrating Buzz and Woody and celebrating all those friendships that people have.
We have plenty of merchandise here on hand, and you can get anything you want, almost anything you want in this park. Bring your wallet whenever you come.
This is probably my favorite part of the job. I know it's a tough job, somebody's got to do it, and I'm the one. I'm here with I've been chosen. I'm here with Chef Kane at the Pixar Fest, and tell us what you have here. This is amazing. I mean, these are colorful, but I'm sure they're tasty.
They are
start
tasty.
With this.
Well, welcome to Pixar Fest.
Thank you.
We'll start right here with Monsters Inc. So these are some of my favorites, right? We got Mike and Sully, best friends here. The cool thing about these, we have the soda sipper, right, and the popcorn bucket.
It's a popcorn bucket, okay.
And they actually attach here at the base. So it's really a neat concept.
Okay.
And they're introducing the color-changing noodles. So I don't know if you wanted to try any, but we can definitely have them change color for you.
Of course.
We got a little sample right here. Right, it's a tough job, but you've been chosen.
Yeah, why not?
That's what the green aliens say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Just want to make sure we're catching on. So take the lime, squeeze the lime on the blue noodles. You notice they're blue right now. And in this, we've got the fresh cucumber, fresh carrots. We've got the Thai basil and some fresh mint as well. So it's starting to change a little. Let me get some of this dressing. Go ahead and put the lime right here. And then if you'd like, give that a little stir. And you can really see the color starting to come through. They're changing to pink.
They're from blue to pink.
Exactly. So if you've seen the movie, one of my favorites is Randall. He changes color, right? He's one of the scarers.
One
of the scarers.
I'm going to take a bite.
Please take a big bite.
I'm here at the Plaza de la Familia in California Adventure with Claudia Burke. And we are celebrating here the Day of the Dead, which is from the movie Coco, which if you haven't seen it yet, you have to see it. This place is colorful, it's musical, it's got everything in it, and Claudia's going to explain what's going on here today.
Sure, of course. So Plaza La Familia, it's a celebration of Coco and the everlasting bonds of family. And as you have seen the film, you know that Coco is inspired by Day of the Dead or Dia de los Muertos. So here at Plaza La Familia, we have an opportunity to immerse yourself into pieces of what is the Dia de los Muertos. There's a lot that you can experience within this plaza, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Like you said, the colors, the music, the smell of the food, it's captivating.
It's the most colorful place, I believe, in all of the park. But first of all, let's just explain the memory wall, because I think people are interested in that.
Oh, the memory wall is one of my favorite places. Just spend some time to come with your family. So we have something behind that called the Tree of Life, and you'll see a lot of our artwork behind there. But next to that is the memory wall, and we have these little pieces of paper that you can write down special memories for your family members, maybe people who have passed or just family that you want to leave a special note to. You hang it on the wall, and on that wall you can go through and just, if you have a moment to walk through that wall, just when you're casually walking, you can feel just the sense of family and love and connection in that space, just with all these different stories that are intertwined.
I am here with my new best friend, Chef Scott.
Awesome, thank you.
Scott is going to be talking about all the wonderful creations that have been made for Halloween time at Disneyland Resorts. And Chef, why don't you start us off?
I'd love to. So what we're looking at today is a selection from Disney California Adventure as well as Disneyland. But I'm going to start really quick about some of our novelties.
Fabulous.
Before we get the sugar high and work our way down the table. We have some popcorn buckets this season, which is our Oogie Boogie. He's a little brighter this time, a little more glowy. So when he lights up at night, he's gonna look fantastic. We also have our Cauldron popcorn bucket. Again, glow in the dark, but that's a new one for the season. And then our mug, our Poison Apple mug, has changed from red, which we had last year, to now we have green, also lights up. So they glow, so we have the light up glow cubes. You can get in your drinks. They drop inside really well. They flash, they glow, it's exciting. Lots of fun.
They make a party.
It is, it sets the
whether
party.
Whether you use them here or
at home.
Buy several, take home, make a party.
Absolutely.
They're perfect.
Just don't do them in your car.
No.
The light up flashing in your car is not good.
Not good.
So here at the resorts, we found that churros are a fan favorite. Mm-hmm. So what we've done is we've started playing with the flavor profile. So we have the dark one is a Maleficent. It's chocolate cookie, crumbles, green sugar, and that comes with a marshmallow dipping sauce. And then we have the green, which is our sour green apple churro, and it comes with a caramel sauce, so that caramel apple flavor is built right into your churro. And not to be outdone, we have our s'mores churro, and that's here at Disney's California Adventure. And this is our regular churro base, but it's got marshmallow cream, chocolate sauce, mini chocolate chips, and then crumbled. That sounds appropriate. Crumbled graham cracker.
Happy Lunar New Year, the year of the pig. And let's say Disneyland celebrates everything, even the year of the pig and the Lunar New Year, which they do an amazing job at. With me is Carla Carlisle, show director, and we just saw the Mulan Lunar New Year procession. And it's quite a show. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for being here. So Mulan's Lunar New Year procession is where Mulan and Mushu lead over 40 performers on the parade route all the way over to Paradise Gardens Park for a beautiful procession and performance of Chinese drummers and fan dancers, and of course the dragon dance. And new this year, since we're ringing in the year of the pig, the 3 pigs have joined us, and they're all dressed up. Fiddler,
Yes.
Piper, and Practical are all dressed up in their beautiful costumes, along with Mulan and Mushu. We also have Goofy and Chippendale, all part of the procession.
I want to introduce you now to my brilliant producer, Dave DeSantis. We've been doing this a year now. This has been fun.
Well, if you think about it, it's actually been, this show a year, but we've been working together for a little bit longer.
Yes.
Because you started appearing on Good Day OC.
Good Day Orange County, yes.
And then this is like the spin-off.
It kind of segued into this.
It was perfect.
Yeah, it worked out well. And with my history with all the actors and the historians and all that, it just kind of blended into a nice show. But What were your expectations when we first decided to start filming this?
I was really excited to see, like, because I knew you knew a lot of people and have met a lot of people, so I was excited to see who you were going to bring in. And I'm a big, like, history and, like, for movie-wise, I love movies that are about something that actually happened.
Yeah.
So hearing people talk about things that actually, you know, people that lived through it, or people that are also in the industry that I could kind of learn from, like, that was really, really cool.
Well, I originally had planned on bringing a lot more actors down, but it's a long way to come from LA, and a lot of people live in Pasadena. So, but the historians, I've learned so much. I think it's fun getting the historians.
I think Ivor was probably my favorite.
He's a cool dude. I've known him for years.
Yeah, if you would want to come back, that'd be really cool. Like he was really interesting.
I will ask him, and I did speak with Brennan Elliott and a lot of the Hallmark Channel people. I could name a list this long that we discussed coming down, and it's just fitting them into the schedules when they can come down, because nobody lives down in Orange County. It's very difficult to get them down.
They vacation here, but they don't live here.
But if I could tell you the list of people that want to come, you'd be amazed. So I'm going to work on it really hard.
Well, Brennan was really interesting too, because I had watched Unreal, the first season, and then I started watching the second season, and then I didn't continue, not because I wasn't into it, but because just life got in the way.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, and then to meet him and then go and watch the second season and watching it with Katie and being like, oh, that's the guy, I met him. And he was really, really nice, he was cool.
He's sweet, and on March 10th, his new series on Hallmark Mysteries, Movies and Mysteries, the Crossword Mysteries premieres.
Nice.
So Brennan, I'm giving you a plug for that. So that's, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's cool. Well, it's interesting because you never know, like, you see people on TV and, you know, they're one way. Like, what I've heard is everyone has a Jeremy Piven story. Like, apparently he's, like, not a nice guy, which you might guess from, like, some of the roles that he's played. But it's interesting to get that perspective and kind of see what people are really like, you know?
Yes, that's one of the problems doing my job, is that when you meet people that you not idolize, but you like.
Yeah.
On screen, they're different off, and you come home and you say, I never want to see anything from that person again.
Right.
He was such a jerk, and that has happened a lot.
Yeah, because they're playing a character, and that's not actually, like, I think for a lot of people, the character they play is sort of frozen in time in our minds. We think that's who they are, but that's not necessarily the reality, you know?
Yeah. Well, I was warned several times before I went into an interview with a couple people that these people don't like doing interviews, and I just kind of adjusted my questions to something that they're interested in to get them talking.
Yeah.
And that worked out really well.
Yeah.
Yes. Nobody believes that Ryan O'Neal and I got along so well.
Well, I could see that, though. I think to kind of go back to what your first question was, it's been really cool to see you evolve and progress since we started, and you know, you turned into a TV host from, you know, behind the red carpet to on the red carpet. Never
in my mind ever did I ever think I'd be on this side of the camera.
Yeah.
And it's been a fun ride, and I've enjoyed it, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm hoping that the viewers enjoy it too, because that's what we do it for.
Yeah.
Besides having fun here. So.
Well, hey, we got another year ahead of us. So.
We do. We have some people scheduled, and it'll work out. Yeah. I'm happy.
Well, thanks, Francine.
Thank you for being such a great producer.
My pleasure.
This last year has been fun and full of surprises, and it's not over. We look forward to another year beyond the red carpet.